Hello and welcome to the Daily Forex Report for November 29th. We're looking at the US-Japanese yen pair. This pair broke previous session's high but pulled back and closed lower. We are looking for this pair to potentially go as high as 78.62, possibly as low as 77.30. Look for some resistance around 78.25 and look for some support around 77.50. Now the Euro-USD pair, this pair moved higher but closed lower overall. Look for it to potentially go as high as 135.24, possibly as low as 131.39. Look for some resistance around 134.40 and look for some support around 132.15. Now the pound US dollar pair, it moved higher, did make a new high, closed higher. We are looking for it to start moving sideways. Look for it to potentially go as high as 157.60, possibly as low as 153.86. Look for some resistance around 156.50 and look for some support around 154.50. Now the US Swiss, this pair closed lower, did break a long-term trend line to the downside but pulled up higher and closed above it. Look for it to potentially go as high as 0.9323, possibly as low as 0.9070. Look for some resistance around 0.9275 and look for some support around 0.9125. Okay, now as far as what I'm looking for during this next session, well, first let's talk about news announcements. Tomorrow, going into tomorrow's session, we have at 3:55 a.m. Eastern Time the German unemployment change for November being released, which will affect the euro. They're showing a drop from 10K down to a negative 5K. At 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have the Canadian quarterly gross domestic product annualized being released, as well as September. September, they're showing a hold at 0.3%. Year to date, they're showing a move up from 2.4% to 2.7%. We also have at 2 p.m. Eastern, we have the U.S. Federal Reserve Book of Economic Survey being released. We'll have to see how that affects the market. Typically, that news has already been digested by the market, so it's not doesn't really cause any movement. Now, at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have the Chinese releasing their PMI manufacturing for November. Consensus on that one's that it's dropped a little bit from 50.4 down to 49.9. Okay, now as far as what I'm looking at, if you look at the Euro-USD on a longer term time frame, you can see that it's moved higher and now it's moved lower. And you can see here we've had a basically a trend line developing, especially if you bring it up even further than that, up to this point. You can see we've tagged it once, twice, and now 3 times, and we're still moving lower, have not closed above that trend line. To the downside, we have a channel basically forming to the downside, like so. And now we have a couple of days in a row, 2 sessions in a row that have closed higher. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for a breakdown of that and for it to move lower. I say it's moved higher. It gapped up, closed lower 2 days in a row, moved much higher. Tried to find ground to the upside, did not find it. We have an overwhelming, the odds are overwhelming that it will retrace to the previous Friday's close down to here. So I'm looking basically for a break down and be able to grab some pips when it does so. I am looking for it to take out this closing price. Looking to short right around the 132.86 mark. And then looking to exit around 132.31 for about 56 pips. Well, I hope that helps, and until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.